This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenrail radio playlist. zenrailclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Portian Bakery. If you're located in the Portian area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Portian Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone can podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. All right, before we jump into Smile, which we saw this week, and I thought it was really good. I thought maybe we'd talk about... Let's talk about the Apple Watch first, since this is relatively new. And I've been using it quite a bit. You were a huge proponent of the Apple Watch, and I was like, I don't know. I feel like other devices could do much better than the Apple Watch. Like, I was like testing out the Garmin's and stuff, and then just inevitably like returning them. I know we like kept talking about the battery life on this one, but it's the fast charge that actually makes this way better than the Garmin's. You know, like the features are all there. Obviously, it's a really smart device, but like the thing that was killing me was the fact that every day you'd have to do like a 2-hour charge, like before. Right?
The original.
Yeah, right. The original one. It wouldn't last that long. But then you were like, oh, because of the fast charge, I can just like go shower and then drop it on the charging dock. Yeah, and then by the time I'm done, it'll be ready for like most of the day, if not the entire day. And I was like, I wonder if that's actually possible. So like I was using this thing in jiu-jitsu, and I just like went to go shower and like get ready for bed. So I left it on the charger, and then by the time I came back, it was like 90% complete. And I was like, oh, okay, this is definitely the most effective Apple device out there. Yeah. So kudos to you for that one. But you're really into the Fit. You were talking about like Apple Fit.
The Fitness Plus.
Yeah. So I'm like trying to figure out what user would benefit the most from the Apple Watch, because like, okay, you don't really need the Apple Watch, you know, because like you can fulfill it through like a Fitbit or like a Garmin.
Yeah.
The only thing though that is kind of annoying is that the Garmin is the only device that allows full access to all of your data, but with the Apple and like the Fitbits, you have to use like a subscription model now, which is kind of annoying, but at the same time, it's like, okay, how else are you going to make money, right? Like you would need to make money off software because you only buy one of these, every 2, 3, 4 years?
Yeah, but I think it all depends on how you look at it, right? Because you're spending money, like for a Canadian, it's like $500, so that should cover, you know what I mean?
Well, the price of the...
Yeah, it's like...
No, but how do they make a profit, you know? Because it's all about like the continuous model of making more money every year.
No, I know. I'm not saying that they're not. I'm just saying that when you're spending that much, you should be getting so much out of it.
Oh, no, yeah, no, 100...
Right?
No, for sure. That is my thought process as well. That's why I was kind of annoyed that like the Fitbit and the Apple Watch, you need... In order to get the really good data, you need to pay the subscription model.
They've already... Because they have that Apple One, they're trying to like that's the subscription thing where they just... for a cheaper price, it's like a whole bunch of... All of the Apple things in one, right?
The Apple
One.
Apple One. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I didn't know. I thought I had Apple One with the family thing.
So they have different... They have 3 different models. Three different...
Tiers?
Tiers.
Oh, that's cool.
So I have the middle tier one that has the... Because I want the Apple TV and that. And then the iCloud space as well.
Wait, you have the Apple TV?
Yeah. No. The
subscription. Oh, no, I have that one too.
Yeah, okay.
So I have the middle tier as well then.
I think so, because before I had the family one. Then I saw the Apple one and I got that one. That includes like the Apple Arcade already part of it.
Yeah, but who uses that? Like kind of
No,
random.
if you're like into mobile games, but I'm not really into that.
Yeah,
so
no,
it's
no.
not. It's just
Do you not have a family plan?
it's called Apple One Family.
Oh, okay.
But they used to have just a family plan before.
That's the one I had.
Yeah, so I switched to the Apple One.
Oh, okay. I think they got rid of that one. That's why I had to upgrade.
Oh, you did change it.
No, I had to. It like told me like it like sent me a notification like next month we're getting rid of this, so you have to move up to this plan. I was like, oh man, all right, fine.
Okay. Yeah. I had some time to wait on it to upgrade since I was like, mainly I just wanted for the Apple TV Plus, right?
Right. Yeah, the shows and stuff.
Like the PS5 gave me like another 6 months free. So
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Totally.
so it's like I didn't have to get it right away. But yeah, now I'm on the Apple One.
How much is the Apple TV?
Individually?
Yeah.
Individually,
you still
was,
need the subscription. Like the device itself, right?
you don't need the device.
Oh wait, what? No, like to cast. Remember?
Oh, you mean?
Because I'm still using the Google Chrome.
Yeah.
But remember, you're like, oh, just get the Apple TV, no?
Yeah,
Isn't
the
that
Apple
right?
TV is, again, it depends on which tier model you're going to get. There's different price points to that.
Oh, it's not just the box?
There's the box, but there's different price points to the box.
Oh, I didn't. Oh man, see, that's annoying. So they're all just doing that now. So I guess that's the hustle, right? It's like you really can't keep making money off of devices. You have to use software.
Yeah, a lot of these are software services. That's
Yeah.
where the next model of money is coming from, right? So with the Apple Music, now Apple TV Plus.
Okay.
Fitness Plus now.
Actually, this kind of leads into. It wasn't going to be a topic, but I was thinking about this right before the podcast. It's like, how good does tech have to get before? Because all right, so we're always on this continuous model of like Moore's law, right? Every year the processing power has to be like doubled. Like that's like the
For the
theory.
devices.
Like,
Yeah.
every year has to be faster and faster and faster, right? But we're hitting this point now where it's like it's just too fast. Like you can't. Like obviously, like you can get faster, but
Yeah.
my brain can't really tell anymore the speed. Like I click it, it turns on.
Yeah.
Right. But they're like, but it's like double the speed of a millisecond. You're like, okay, but how am I going to tell? Or like the refresh rate or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we're at that point now, and I feel like they're noticing it too, where the tech can't go any further past this point. So we need to figure out how to make money.
Yeah.
You know-
Software services.
Software services. So the reason why I brought that up is we're both playing Assassin's Creed right now. You're playing Valhalla,
Yeah.
and I'm playing Black Flag. You're on a PS5, I'm on a PS4. I can't tell the difference. Like I obviously like I can tell that yours is better, but it's like we're splitting hairs now.
Yeah.
It's still really good, Black Flag. So how much better do I need to get? And I was like, why would I need a PS5? Like that was my thought process as we were both playing it. And I was like, why would I need a PS5 if these games are classic and they're still good?
Yeah.
You know? But I wonder if that's what these devices are thinking. You know, because they're like, well, we can't get any better, but we need to make more money, so we're just gonna charge subscriptions now.
Yeah. So they all have subscription models too, right?
Yeah,
So,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
Because like
Eventually, I mean, the plan is to not
have a
like,
system
for
at
the
all.
PS5 and stuff is to eventually not have those devices
Yeah, right. Exactly.
and run through streaming.
Yeah, exactly. And this is something we talked about before, and the only way to do that is subscription models.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's a lot of things that, like, simplistic thing was like we all had DVD players or VHS players back in the day.
Yeah,
Right?
totally.
But now we don't need any of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a great example, like Netflix.
We don't need those devices. Everything's done through Netflix now.
Yeah, totally. Do you think there's going to be like one Apex phone in the future? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't really go past this. It seems like we're hitting that point with the 14 and the, like the 11, 12, and 14. They skipped 13, right?
No, mine's 13.
Oh, okay. So 11, 12, 13, and 14. We're at the 14 now. And MKBHD was like, the 14's essentially a 13 just repackaged.
Yeah.
So it's like, are they hitting that point where we really just can't make it any better? Like, yeah, we can remove the notch, we can make it thinner, but it's like you're just paying $1,000 every year for a thinner phone.
Yeah, I don't think they can make it thinner either, right?
But that's what I mean. So
We're
it's
also
like,
limited to battery capacity.
exactly. So it's like,
I don't think you can go that much thinner. That's why they're making different phone sizes to have a bigger battery in them.
right.
All that's happening is bigger screen size, actually.
Right. So maybe we are literally plateauing. Like tech plateau.
Tech-wise,
Like,
yeah.
no, not
we're
tech,
limited
hardware
to
plateau.
Yeah, we're limited to the hardware. Yeah, especially with the battery.
Yeah.
Especially the battery. That's having the biggest impact, because I don't think the battery technology has really not really changed.
And everything I've watched with these Apple devices, like obviously the 7 and the 8, they're like stunning because they have the always on display and like the quality's really good. Like I got the 8, but I was watching these videos and these people were still using the version 3. Like for all they're like, yeah, the metrics are still great, blah, blah, blah. It just doesn't have like always on display and all that.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's another good example of like a hardware plateau.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's like you still have Series 8 and everything's working fine.
Right. So yeah, it's not a necessity to upgrade.
Yes.
But the way to get your money is through subscription model.
Yeah, fascinating. Because remember what was I running before, like a 6S before I got the 11 Pro?
Yeah, I think so.
It was like really old, right?
Yeah.
And then jumping to the 11 Pro, I was fascinated. I was like, oh, this thing's waterproof and like indestructible essentially. So it's like, that was an obvious upgrade because like the 6S would break and you can submerge it underwater. But now I'm like, with the 14, my sister was like, should we upgrade our phones? And I was like, I don't see a use case right now.
Yeah.
Unless they're like, oh, the processor can't handle the software, then you're kind of forced to upgrade.
Yeah, it's still in a while, right?
It's still in a while, right?
Yeah. They generally always are updating older phones, right? So it's like...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So they're keeping their devices as long as they can too, right?
Right. Yeah, totally. And the only other thing that I see that I want to upgrade in my whole like arsenal, like, all right, well, even the AirPods Pro, right? I wanted to get them, but it's like watching the review, all you did was create like a ping in it and you added a loop. Yeah. And they're like, oh yeah, the sound's marginally better, but it's like, okay, well, how are you gonna tell the difference?
Yeah, again, yeah.
You know, like, and they're like, oh, we added a volume knob on the side, so I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna buy a whole new $300 AirPods.
I don't think if you already had an AirPods Pro, there's
like why would you upgrade?
It's not a need to upgrade,
right? Yeah. So hardware plateau again.
Yeah.
But the only thing in my like technology arsenal that is lagging right now is my laptop because it can't run the new iOS. Well, it might be able to, but I don't want to test it because I upgraded to like.
No, I think those are all limited to their it's the third-party hardware, right? Because yours is still Intel.
Right. But if I bought like the M1 chip or the M2 chip, that's all Apple based. So it's like,
yeah, then you're fully Apple ecosystem.
Yeah.
At that point, yeah.
Maybe that's my next. Not now. It's still running on its legs, but
yeah. I mean, there's no more upgrades to my computer, but I rarely use it. But I use more of the iPad, which is already like 5 years old
another one too. Yeah.
Even the iPad, I've had that for about 5 years or more. Yeah.
It's totally fine, right? Yeah, exactly. So it's like,
I don't have any need to upgrade that. I don't have any need to. Well, I mean, I don't even use the laptop, but that laptop's still running from 2008. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so it's like subscription just makes the most sense because I was getting kind of cheese there because I was looking for that like a Garmin style app.
Yeah.
I found a free alternative, but it's like, why do I need like 4 different apps?
Does Garmin have an app?
No, it's Garmin exclusive. No, because it can't run the device. Like it uses its sensors.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
No, I'm saying like, did they make an app for?
No,
Apple
they don't.
Watch? No.
They only make their own app. But the annoying thing is that I'm using 4 different apps to do with what one app would do. Like when I had the Garmin, it's all in the dashboard, but now I have to like click through a bunch of different ones. Like I had to find like different alternatives that were free because I didn't want to pay like subscription model like for 4 different apps to get like you know.
Yeah. Fitness thing itself is very expensive. Like
which one? The fitness Apple Fit?
No. I'm saying in general, like
fitness
you're already
industry?
paying for a gym. You're paying for.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
And then on top of that, you're paying for all these fitness stuff.
Yeah, I wonder how Garmin makes his money though to be able to offer because they're not fitness though. Like Garmin's actually the outdoor industry, so they like sell trackers, they sell GPS devices. Maybe
they have a model until they have a certain time that they're going to be out for free. I don't know. Maybe eventually that they'll have to.
They'll make it.
Yeah.
Hopefully not, because that would they've been doing annoying.
Different. They're an outdoor thing. Like I remember, like GPS is from them, right?
They're like the number one outdoor thing. Like all the videos right now are like, can Apple Watch Ultra beat the Garmin?
Yeah, that's always going to be the thing. Yeah.
No, but like with the Ultras, because it's actually expanding into the
outdoor.
Like
Or more
the
the
ultra,
outdoor.
like ultra outdoor. Like Garmin is like ultra outdoor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, also with the Garmin, what I noticed is like these things are rugged, but I'm not going to the backcountry.
Right.
You know, so it's like, why do I need that level of toughness?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I really feel like the Apple Watch is a great accessory.
Well, it kind of is, right? You can't use an Apple Watch unless you have an iPhone.
True. Yeah. But all right, here's the other thing with the Apple Watch. I used to say like, oh, it's just a remote. Remember, I was like telling you, like, oh, you're just gonna use it as a remote. Totally makes sense. But it's like, it's become its own device now.
Yeah.
Although you do need the Apple iPhone
they didn't detach that yet, so that there's still an umbilical cord to the iPhone.
Essentially, yeah. But the device itself can run independently of your phone now. Like I can download music onto it. I can make calls if I have a specific.
It's
thing.
using your phone as the device.
But you can get like 5G ones or like cellular.
Yeah,
data
if you get
ones.
the cellular ones, it'll have their own.
Yeah, so you can make like calls and stuff off of it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty excellent. Mm-hmm. And then the thing,
like
the commercial,
the connection thing has been going on. Like on an iPad, if you call my phone, on my iPad will show up there's a phone call coming. I can even take the call on the iPad.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and mine is just like a Wi-Fi iPad, right? But it's using the under the same
Wi-Fi calling. Yeah,
not Wi-Fi calling.
Oh, so how's it doing?
It can pick up actual like cellular call. It's running through the phone.
Wait, what? So if you're out?
No, not out. As long as you're within, you're using the same.
No, I mean like so if you're outside, not connected to Wi-Fi.
No, I think you need to have the Wi-Fi.
Oh, so yeah.
But that's how the data is sending it.
Oh yeah.
Through to the phone and then out through the phone's antenna.
I see what you're saying.
It's like you still need that's what I'm saying. Like I can pick it up anywhere in the house. I don't have to have the phone necessarily on me.
Yeah, see, it's so integrated now. They've all become remotes for one another. Mm-hmm. Because I remember, like, with I was still thinking about the first iteration of the Apple Watch, and that's why I was so, like, hesitant to get it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, what is this thing?
Yeah,
it's not really, it's not, like, essential.
Yeah. It's like, for me, it was like when I first bought the iPad. I saw where the iPad can go, but the first iPad is the test.
yeah, true. Yeah. But now it's, like, come on its own. Like, it's like,
now you're on we're on Series 8 for the watch, right? And we're like iPad Pro, whatever. So it's like it's been many years now.
Yeah. And they've become like signature standalone devices that are just super integrated with one another.
Yeah.
Well, one other thing, like in terms of integration, which I'm like fascinated by, is if you update your like the Garmin, you have to sync it again. Mm-hmm. So it like periodically syncs, and that was getting tedious. So like if I wanted to change the interface, I'd have to like hit sync and then I have to wait it's like quick. It's like 4 seconds, but it's still something, right?
Yeah.
But if I changed something on my phone to the Apple Watch, it automatically does it without even have to sync. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, that's like seamless integration, you know? And another cool, like in terms of how they're connected, is if I set a focus mode, it'll do it on my watch as well. Mm-hmm. So it's like it knows that they're connected.
Right.
So like if I'm going to sleep, I just turn on sleep mode on my watch or my phone, and then both will
be the same.
It's pretty impressive. Like super integrated ecosystem.
Yeah, that's
right. And then I was also thinking about this, like, because you know how I have 2 screens next to my laptop.
Okay.
All right, and they're like wired. I was like, well, what would happen if I got 2 iPads and a new MacBook Pro? It's completely wireless, full integration with all the devices.
Depends on what kind of integration. Like there's still I don't know. I don't have the new iPads or new
because the M1, right? You can like drag and drop.
Yeah, you can do. Yeah, you can do that.
It's almost like an external monitor.
Yeah.
So that's like, whoa, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it all depends on the use case scenario. I feel like
Wouldn't that be so crazy too? If it's so because we both don't have like new Macs to test this out. Well, I guess I could use my like work Mac, but then I'd have to integrate the device together. So that'd be annoying.
Yeah. But it's a work one.
but imagine if like, because theoretically speaking, the way the phone and the Apple Watch work together, imagine if I turn a specific focus mode on my Apple Watch, it does it to all my devices.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
I think that's probably what they're. Yeah.
Like I could
Why
see that
wouldn't they do
happening.
that?
Yeah, why wouldn't they do that? Like if
Yeah.
I'm going to sleep, it's like put that sleep mode on, and then all the devices go on like sleep mode.
Yeah.
Wow, it's like it's becoming like a one company world for technology.
I think that that's Apple has always focused on ecosystem in that way, so they're gonna always improve the whatever features they can. Whatever technology is available, right, or software that they get. So that thing is the integration is probably a very high point for Apple, right? Well, was always in high point, like always the thing that to always have that.
Yeah.
Right. As soon as we can do the integration, right? There were I know remember like there weren't this level of integration wasn't there, but the idea of integration has always been
because they
what
didn't
they're
have
focused on.
the chip yet, the M1 chip and like the actual processing power to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it'd be really cool too. Like they have this Aura ring. Have you heard of the Aura ring, right? So imagine if you had like if they stole the idea and they created their own accessory as a ring too to help. Why would you even get anything that isn't Apple? I know I've been saying that the whole time, just like, why would you not get an Apple? But like, after testing out Garmin's and like looking at the Fitbit, it's like, you gotta go Apple everything, you know? Even the size, like I mainly wanted to get a tracker because of jiu-jitsu. I wanted to see like, what's my heart rate at and like, what's my cardio level. And like, so I got the smallest size for the Apple Watch. Yeah. And it's like, it's actually so snugly comfortable that I don't even like worry about it. Like the 45 inch or millimeter. Yeah, that's big. 45 millimeter compared to the 41. And I thought like, oh, maybe this 41 would be really, really small. But actually going about it, like I don't notice it at all.
For daily use.
You know?
I think if you went for the bigger one, it's like then it's more like a watch, like the size of a watch versus the size of like a Fitbit or something.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, for sure. I mean, 41 is really big for a watch size already. Like the watch that I have on right now is like 43, so it's like 2 millimeters smaller, bigger,
right,
than the other one. Oh no, sorry, 43. The Apple Watch is bigger than this one.
I guess they're going. Is it like the diagonal of the screen? I guess. So that's why it's 45. Maybe. At the shortest point, it would be because it's rectangular, right?
Yeah, true. I'm not sure. I don't know how they measure that. Maybe it is a diagonal. That makes sense.
Or maybe it's like the one side length. I don't know.
Yeah, we have to look at that. But so the like even this watch is already pretty big that I'm wearing all the time, like 43. Yeah. So imagine like a 45. It's like you are just wearing a watch at that point.
Yeah, and I don't have watches, right? So I would go with the 45.
And the Ultra is bigger, right?
It's bigger.
Yeah, that seems
bigger
like
and
too
thicker
much.
though.
But it does look good on certain people though. There was a giant, like tall guy at Apple, and I saw him with it. I was like, oh, that looks normal on you because his wrists are so big.
Yeah, I think it depends on your wrist size and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's still too big.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Now I'm thoroughly impressed. Like Apple, I don't know why I doubted you when I was looking for a tracker. But even the price is like, it's not completely out of the realm of purchasing. It's like $500, like $529 for the smaller model.
Yes.
But they also have like other ones like the SE. It was like 200.
Yeah, they do have an SE. Yeah, that is like what do you call it? Like an intro thing, like a introduction Apple Watch kind of. I feel like.
Oh, the SE.
Yeah, it's cheaper.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So it's like
it doesn't have it doesn't have the always on display, like that kind of stuff is not there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but still they have like an entry to.
Yeah, that's the word. Entry level.
Yeah.
Apple
yeah.
Watch.
Yeah, man. Competitively, like I see where like Garmin and Fitbit stands, but like it's really hard to make an argument for other watches, unless you're like because I follow some. Like,
I think you have to live in the Apple ecosystem to understand it.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally. You know what it's like? It's like the haptic feedback on the PS5. Remember that when you first got it and we were doing the episode and I was trying to explain it, but it's like you just have to feel it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like it's comfort. Like it's it's like utility and ease of use and like integration.
I think that's why Apple wins, right?
You'll just be surprised. Like
yeah. Like I remember for a long time, there wasn't any devices like where it all worked together, right?
That's the thing.
At the time, I was only thinking about Sony, right? I remember way back, and it was like Sony was the option because I can have Sony this, Sony that. Like, I was already thinking of integration.
Yes.
Before,
but even with that though, those weren't the best devices.
Those weren't right? At the time. I'm saying way back. That's what I was.
Yeah.
I was already looking for something that I just all won, right? And then
you don't have to think. You're like, this is the brand I'm getting.
And then Apple came around eventually. Like
yeah.
And then
which is also kind of funny because Apple was spurred out of the idea of psychedelics too, right? Like his he'll like credit spirituality and psychedelics, but he'll credit like a lot of Eastern philosophy into what makes this thing so simple and like Zen-like. If you read his like book, he talks about like Zen. And he talks about the calf example where it should come out right away.
It's his life experience is what led to that.
Totally.
Right? It's not just one thing. It's the multitude of the experiences.
True.
That culminates in Apple.
Yeah, which is why it's like so. I don't know. Like he's a well thought out person.
We're talking about Steve Jobs, but
Steve Jobs, Steve Jobs is a well thought out person. And that like really rubbed off onto his devices. I don't know. I'm just like shocked that somebody actually came up with this. Like you really don't have to think. It's like, just buy an Apple. You'll be fine if you have it.
Yeah.
Like,
it really is. Yeah, it's.
I know we sound like total Apple fanboys, but it's like you have to. Like I tried those devices. I literally bought and then I returned it. The Garmin's.
Oh yeah.
Remember, I was like, I did the test run for it. And I was like, it's because I like the thinness of the Vivo Smart. So I was trying that, but it's like it just wouldn't respond well when I was trying to
touch it. Touch was not as good.
I had to tap it. It was like touch the screen twice. So I like hit it twice and it didn't work. So I was like, what? So I tapped it like 5 times and then like, okay, we registered it. I was like, oh my God, why is this so hard? Yeah, it's not like
Apple's been working on screen touch for a long time, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but again, like I was gonna say this before that I follow like a lot of surfers and stuff, and they use Garmin's. But it's like you need something rugged for that. Like you're not going to be taking. Well, you can take an Apple Watch into like the surf, but or like Tough Mudder, like those triathlon things. You could bring your Apple Watch, but you also do run the risk of like hitting it against a rock and then it'll crack or shatter. But like everyday like modernity, it seems like Apple's.
And I think that's the main crowd, right? Everybody has an iPhone.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah. They're not going for the niche people.
Yeah. Well, that's what the App Ultra is trying to do, right? It's just reaching those niche as much as they can. But
again, iteration
that's also
one.
an intro. That was also an entry. Not, I wouldn't say an entry. That's their entry version of an outdoor one. So I feel like what's the next?
You mean they're like iteration?
Yeah, the first iteration of the Ultra. So what happens to the next iteration?
Yeah, it might be even better and better. Yeah, very impressed. Anything else about the Apple Watch before we move on?
No, I think. Yeah, I mean, I know they've been doing that really well. So, like the whole iPhone event was really an Apple Watch event.
Okay, the latest one.
The latest one, yeah. That was what I felt like when I was watching it too. This is an Apple Watch event. This is not an iPhone.
Oh, that's good then. I jumped on the right time with the Series 8. But the one thing, okay, so I reviewed the notes and there's 2 things that are like kind of negatives, but not really negatives. Kind of negatives. The first one is it took so long to set it up. Like it literally took me half a day to go through every setting and be like, do I want this one on? Do I not want this? What does this one mean? Like it's super intricate. But the cool thing is I was Googling, how do I save this now? Just so that, because you can like with all devices, you can take the old settings and then transplant them to a new device.
Yeah, clone it to a new device.
Yeah, and what they said is it does it automatically on your phone. So if I buy a new one, I would just like pair it. There's no like backup.
Right.
Because don't we have to back up our phones or something like that? They always say that.
I mean, that's just to the iCloud.
Yeah, all right,
Like
but,
I don't really.
but there's no backing up for the Apple Watch.
There's
so
no
that's
more.
pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I haven't done any like physical backup anymore. I've never done. I haven't
okay.
done that since the last phone that I had.
Right, because you just put them side by side.
And even just you just put them side by side and they automatically clone.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, you're right. If you buy a new phone now, like the backup is in case you lose it.
Yeah.
So you should do it just in case it like you
You
lose your phone.
should,
You're like,
yeah.
oh, where did it go? You know.
But I do that to the cloud. So
Right. But if you bought a new device, the way that they like clone the data
or transfer the data.
transfer the data is like just through Bluetooth now, and you just put them side by side and it just works away at it. That's friggin' impressive. Like, what else does that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then the other negative is I do feel like I'm in Black Mirror now. Like it's super futuristic, like oddly, like just like, all right, so it's so subtle, and I was showing to you before, but if you raise your wrist from the Apple Watch, it turns on like a different color. Like it like turns on.
Yeah, it's
essentially.
active. It's active.
Active, right?
Yeah.
You could turn that off, but I kept it on because it's so cool. But it is kind of freaky. It's like, am I in, like, I feel like I'm in the future with it, you know?
Well, yeah, we're in the now. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that.
No, it's just like, it is kind of like, it is like we are cyborgs. You know, we are fully integrated. If you want to be, you can like start buying devices that really integrate you digitally. You know, like it's the tracking.
Yeah.
When I was Googling, like when
Yeah,
I
the
was
access
searching-
to our own data now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's what I mean.
is,
Yeah. And then you can pull up a report of yourself, and you're like, oh, this is what I slept like. This is my recovery. Like Eve, I was telling you this morning, I got an excellent sleep score because I slept for like 8.5 hours, and then when I woke up, it was like it notified me like perfect night's sleep, and then I was like, oh, can I train today? Because I was overtraining before. I was doing like pure intuition.
Right.
So every day I was like, let me just go, and then I sprained my wrist, right? Because I couldn't tell if my body was healing or not.
Right.
So I just kept going harder. Even though if I was sick, I was like, let me just go to the gym, then go to jiu-jitsu, all this, right? But now I have like the body recovery score. And today it was like, yeah, you're good to train. I was like, oh, cool. All right, let me just go.
But now this is the thing. Yeah, it's now being led by technology
All right,
versus
so totally.
leading
Yes.
technology.
Is it being led by technology, or is it utilizing technology? You're right though, because if I didn't see the score out of it, well, I would have went anyways because I hadn't gone to the gym for a bit. But like yesterday, I was feeling a little sick, so I didn't go to the gym. It's like I'll save it for tomorrow.
Right.
But my recovery score was like 20% yesterday, so it was like you're not good to train today.
Okay.
So that is a good question. It's like I felt bad. I saw the score, so I decided not to go. But if I felt bad, didn't see the score, would I have still went?
That's the thing.
Right?
Yeah,
So
that's
it's like,
the thing. Yeah.
is it leading me or is it helping me though?
I think in general it's helping, right? It's
Yeah, true.
but it's treating us like, I mean, like
It's
just
inf-
machines, right?
It's
We're like machines.
Yeah, that is it. That's why I said cyborg. It's
Yeah.
like we're machines.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, your RAM is overrun. So like,
Yeah.
or like
Just
whatever,
chill
right?
today. Yeah, no, totally.
That's what
Yeah,
it is.
for sure.
But in a way, we are like that, though, right? So it's like,
But that's the thing. It's like we gather data to make informed decisions.
Exactly.
In life, though, that's like you don't play the stock market guessing.
yeah.
You're like,
no.
let me read all the reports, and then I'm going to invest in this company. I like personally, I think more data is better. Like, it's better to know what the issues are, and then you can correct them.
Yeah, I think with these sort of things, it may be good to like for health wise.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Like
Although,
what has changed in your health habits or
yeah,
things like that.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Although it's funny because it's like, although I am trying to optimize all those things, I still haven't gotten a blood test. It's like I'm just trying. Like it's just the prick. But if they created some sort of like laser check with it, you know what I mean? Like you can check your blood with a laser now instead of having to.
Right.
You know, like yeah, that would be a interesting thing if you had like Neuralink implanted, so you don't even need blood tests anymore. It's always checking your blood because you have the machine inside you already.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, eventually.
I'd be
I mean,
open
the
to
point
it.
is to make things hopefully easier
but
and not less intrusive.
Right, totally, exactly, yeah. But it would be weird if like we do just become these robots. But I don't know. Is it robot or are you just like
I think
a
more like
perfected
this
human?
Sorry, I'm what?
Are you a robot or are you a perfected human?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
yeah. I see what you're saying.
It's like this. It's like this. My best example is UFC. So UFC fighters in the beginning, they didn't know how to train, like when they were just fighting. But now, if you look at what UFC fighters now do, they have the Performance Institute, and they're just like athletes, bro, and they're amazing.
No, you know what? It's right. I think it's making us better because if you look at like even just looking at Olympics, right?
Yes.
What kind of records people were setting, and then people are breaking records. That means that that's all based on technology and improving your ability.
The data. You're like, oh, this is
based on the data. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it is improving us. Yeah. That's why you can see the difference between those world records before and today, right?
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, maybe it's not like maybe it is a good thing to be cyborg-ish, you know?
Yeah. I think it's just to understand that we're all, in a way, like we need these calories. We need like we're still, mechanical kind of thing, without not mechanical. It's just like but like we have a certain criteria that we have to fill, right? Like,
yes. Well, actually,
you need this much calories, so that's it makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Or maybe it's also like mathematics. So the world is always running, but we're describing the world through mathematics. Like that's where physics comes in and like all that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's not that we're like we could have. Okay, so if you create,
maybe it should come to a point where also it's like we're doing all the fitness things.
Yeah.
Then maybe the psychological things, like your social score, or like your.
Oh yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? It's like maybe you're if you're an introvert, okay, you need only this much of a social score, let's just say, versus a person who's an extrovert.
Oh, that'd be so interesting. That'd be so interesting in the future too. Actually, yeah. And like that, this person is gauged better for you.
Yeah.
According to our data.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. But okay, so if we had like, remember cannons back in the day?
Yeah.
So like, if you shot an iron ball out of a cannon, and you just did that over and over without any mathematics, you would just like kind of run your head at the wall.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, let's try this, a lot of trial and error. But then if you have like mathematics, you're like, oh, if I just angle it at a 45-degree angle, I can get the maximum amount of my distance. So it's like, maybe it's just making us more efficient.
I think it is becoming more efficient, yeah. I think all the earlier trials were meant to be the different randomness to figure out what is the best best angle to get at it, right? So it's like, I feel like that's like before it's all like we don't know if this thing works, but then now we have the data to show if it's working or not working.
Yeah. I say all this because like, my dad's not a fan of data. Tara's not a fan. She's like, you're reading too much into the data. But I'm like, but it's making.
Well, I think
optimal.
I think it makes sense when you're like in the Olympic field, right? You're trying to break records.
To treat yourself like an athlete.
Yeah. I think in that sense, I think there's a level of balance where it's like not too, like a normal person, I don't think you should be focused solely on the data. Unless you're looking for something specific, right? You're trying to lose weight or whatever you're trying to do, right?
Get more strength and all that. Yeah, totally.
I think in that kind of sense, those people, it'll help. But like, if you're only looking at data, but like for what purpose?
Totally. So it's sort of like fire. Like you can cook your food with fire or you can burn your house down.
Yeah.
So it's like, it depends on your intention. Like, are you becoming super anxious because of all the data? Or are you using the data to be like, I need to move in this direction?
Right. Yeah. I think in a way you should have, maybe if you should have goals versus
totally.
Right. I think that makes sense where you're then knowing where you're focusing on.
But then another person can like look at the goal. Or says, okay, if I look at my walk score, right, I'm not really driven by these goals. But if I was trying to hit like 10,000 steps a day or whatever, I would look at it and I'd be like, oh, I need to go outside right now and go for a walk. Or somebody might look at it and be like, oh, I'm so lazy. Look, I can't even hit this score. Oh, what's the point? So it's like, it really is how you're framing that in your mind, the data. Because yeah, it could be harmful to certain people.
Yeah, I think. I mean, but these things are always anything can be harmful, right?
Yeah. That's my fire analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all depends on how your outlook of life is.
Yeah, totally. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's hard to check, right? So like, is this someone who's obsessive versus someone, right? Like,
Yeah.
that has to be an individual thing. Like,
But you're right though. It's like we don't have any metrics for psychology yet in these devices.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've introduced like the meditation app, the stress app, so it can tell when I'm like stressed, but it can't tell what my mind is going through or like my thought process, That would be like but how could you possibly?
I don't know. That's when you have to have the Neuralink and stuff like that. I think based on whatever technology we have, I'm just saying like that those things won't happen right now.
Yeah, like how? Yeah, exactly. How could the device measure the intangible? Like there's nothing there. Yeah. Very interesting. Well, that all being said, like definitely worth checking out the Apple Watch if you're in the market for a smart device.
And have an iPhone.
Yeah. If you want like the easiest integration, just go Apple. I should have listened to that myself when I was searching for my smart devices. But I guess it's also good because if I had went with the Apple Watch right away, I probably would have bought the 7 because I'm pretty hasty. And then you'd been like, oh, the 8 just came out. I was like, oh, damn, I should have waited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so next thing is, because I was pondering this, how people say like 40 is the new 30?
Sure.
Right, because we're getting like older.
Yeah.
Technology-wise. Actually,
technology making us younger.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like, this actually goes back to the Apple Watch too. It's like technology has made us live longer. So like, when you were younger, back in the day, people would achieve these specific milestones at a very young age. Like they become king at 20. Like if you live past 30 in the olden days, they're like, oh, you're like a wizard. It's like, how did you do this?
Right.
So like, are we hitting that point where 40 really is the new 30? Or is that just something people our age say because we're old?
I think it all depends on life expectancy rates, right? Like if our life expectancy is getting better, then I guess it makes sense.
But we're not pushing these specific milestones back anymore. Like
that's what I'm saying. Unless
20,
life
still getting a
expectancy
job.
starts getting worse, right?
No, but life expectancy aside, like the milestones, like you graduate high school at this age, you go to,
right,
so it's like, did we just introduce a whole new section into people's lives? Because remember, like when we were younger, it's like 40, you're like over the hill. But now it seems like 50 is becoming that. Like Joe Rogan, Eddie Bravo at 50, they're like, oh, now I need to start taking my life more seriously, my health more seriously, because I'm like old, my body's breaking down.
Right.
So I was like, is that's the new 40? Or, you know what I mean? Like, everything got pushed back. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. I just wonder if that's like, because like, you remember 40 is like you're over the hill or whatever. But I don't really hear people saying that anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not around that type of. I didn't hear it before too many times before.
Oh, really? Yeah. Like the midlife crisis.
Yeah, that's the only 40. Time that I heard it. It was only that.
So like that's at 40. So you're like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is midlife now 50?
That's what I'm asking. So like, is 40 the new 30? Like have we pushed back these, I don't know, like milestones in our lives? Like
I think so. I think like what's like more people are staying at home longer.
Yeah, that's what exactly
right?
I mean.
Yes, you're still young, or you still feel younger, right?
Because remember at like 20, you already have a mortgage, you have a family.
Before, yeah.
But now if I'm like, oh, they got their kid at 21, you'd be like, oh, that's young.
Right.
It sounds young.
Yeah.
Right. It does now. But like, if you go back, you're like, oh, they got the kid at 20. Oh, okay, yeah. They graduated university.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Right? They got a job. They got a house. Like, having a kid at 24 is like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah. Now people are having in
Now you're like
30s
24, you're
or
like,
closer
whoa.
to 30s. Yeah. So it's like,
See what I mean?
yeah.
So it's like everything got pushed back.
Yeah.
It's like 20s where you're kind of building your career, 30s where you kind of have your career, 40s when you're like evolving,
More established.
like, more established in your career.
Yeah.
Whereas before it would have been like 20, you're like starting to build your career, and like 25, you've already been setting it, you know, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a different world now.
Yeah, I think that is the economy structure. I feel like it's all of that. It's a mix of all that. Because if people are staying longer, that means at home, that means that they can't afford to live outside.
Ooh, very true too, as well. Like economy structure and like education system, because people are going for like PhDs now, and PhD you don't get into like 28
Or masters or
even a master's. Yeah, you're getting that at like 26, 27. So it's like you don't graduate school until much later.
Yeah.
So of course you're gonna build your career in your 30s. Actually, this totally makes sense. That's probably why they say that 40 is the new 30.
Yeah.
Because education has increased. Like we've, you know, the timeline is become extended because people are pursuing more higher forms of learning. Yeah, I was just pondering that because I was like, is that real or, you know?
Yeah, I think in a way it's real. Yeah, because everything's being pushed back in a way, right? So.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Okay, so speaking of jobs, I was also thinking about this one. I brought up in the group chat about like meanings of life. Because you know, like I realized that life is just a story you tell yourself, and it's like whatever you want, that's gonna be the truest form of like your life, right? And I started thinking like we just create things. Like a human being without a goal is kind of aimless. Like with like without something that they're working towards, or like trying to cultivate. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why like video games are so great, because they create these false goals, so it makes you feel like you're achieving. Yeah. You know, but like things like having a successful career or like having kids, it's like these things give you solidified meaning to work towards something. Yeah. Yeah. Do you agree? Or
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. It's weird, right? But then if you strip that back, it's like, what is that job anyways? You know, like if you just took that job away, then does your life mean nothing?
It's some people, yeah.
That's what I mean. And then they go like a little haywire because they're like, this was everything to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you work with people that are like super, like they personalize their job and they're like, you're like, whoa, this is not at all you. You know, it's weird. Yeah, and I feel like, because I was trying to figure out like what is the driver in like children as well, but it makes sense because it's like you're like our not highest input, because it's different for other people, but like propagating the lineage. It's like that's an innate.
Yeah, that's an innate thing. That's been
right, like throughout history. That's what we all do.
Procreation happens.
Procreation, yeah, exactly, yeah. So it's like, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out like what are these meanings we attach to life? Because for some person it's like, well, the highest good is like having a kid, and you're like, but that's not universally true.
Yeah, it's not. It's their truth.
Right.
Yeah.
But then it gets freaky because then you're like, there is no universal truth then.
No.
Which
it's just
right.
Yeah. No.
And then it makes you think like, are we just like running around as like a horde that has no idea what's going on? Like human beings are like kind of like a confused horde.
I don't want to say it's like confused necessarily. I mean, like then because we're just doing what other animals do too, right?
Like, no, not necessarily. No, because like what other animal has like a job or refuses to have kids?
I'm not talking about like job. I'm saying like when you're making or creating a family and like doing that. Like that's
from an animalistic perspective.
That's an animalistic thing.
But you can supersede that now. You're like, oh no, I actually want to make my life all about giving back to people. Mother Teresa.
No. Yeah. You can do that if those opportunities are there, right?
Yeah.
For those types of people. But I'm saying in general, most people have a family and kids. Most people.
But okay, but
right, there's always going to be outliers.
Right, but because you said most doesn't make it universally true, right?
Yeah.
Because then if it was universally true, then everyone does this.
No.
Like
Yeah.
everyone breathes. That's universally true.
No. Yeah, I get that. I'm saying that.
So, but
Yeah, when you go, I'm saying generalities, right? There's always going to be the outliers that have different experiences in life that led them to different things.
right, but an outlier, it's like for me, it's like mathematics. Like if you have one, if you're trying to prove something, and then if there's one example of it not being possible, then they throw out their whole equation, right? It's not a proof,
Yeah.
right? And that's what makes it valid beyond subjectivity. Whereas the human experience is completely subjective.
Yeah.
That's why it's like life is a story you tell yourself, like whatever you want it to be. There's nothing universally true about us. And because life is completely subjective, it almost feels like we're just like moving forward, like bumbling around.
Or something's moving us forward. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, but something being like the economy, you mean? Or like world leaders?
No, I'm not. I'm not like that. Just I'm just saying that as a joke, like God. I'm just saying,
Oh, okay.
like supernatural.
But you know, that because if God is just in your mind, then there is something inside of you pushing you forward.
Yeah.
I don't know, like when you look at it, take a step back and you look at life as like, what does it all mean? Because it's like the greatest question. Everyone's wondering, like, what does it all mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, it really doesn't mean anything.
Well, yeah.
No, but like, even if you're like, no, but it means this. But it's like, yeah, but because it's not universally true, it actually doesn't mean that.
Right. Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying.
So now I'm like, so life is really meaningless. But that's what the nihilists believe, right?
Yeah.
The like Nietzsche is all about nihilism. He believed nothing was true, and like nothing is, and that made life pointless. And if you really think about it, he was kind of right, you know?
Yeah.
But it is like the hardest pill to swallow.
Yeah, he's right. But it's like,
So now what are you gonna do about it?
yeah. What do you do? Do you want to be
cool, yeah,
stuck
like-
in nihilism? Do you want to be just
No, totally, yeah,
like
for sure.
do you want to have an enjoyable?
Well, that's the Epicureanism now. Now it's
Yeah.
like when you realize that there's no point to any of this, then just enjoy the experience.
That means that we have control over what we want. In that sense, like
What do you mean?
by saying that there's no actual meaning. That means we are in control of what the meaning is.
On the level of the illusion of free will.
Yeah.
But like we're talking actual determinism because we both agree that
Yeah.
there is no such thing as free will.
That's
That's like the next level. Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
next level if you want to.
But like the superficial free will, yes, I agree with you because then now you have choice.
Yeah.
You know, even though there is really no choice. But yes, I agree with you. It does give you some.
Because you can get stuck in the nihilism and then you just that's just
Spiral.
depression.
Yeah,
You're just going to spiral
exactly.
in
Yeah, well,
depression.
that's why
and then that's like
Nietzsche killed himself or whatever.
so it's like then so like that's why. But you have both sides. People that have a very fulfilling life or happy life. So there's like
But
which one is better?
But the downside of that though is you can also be too attached to your life. So when it's time to go, you're not willing to go.
You're going to go anyways, right? You've left behind.
No, but the people that like if you take Epicureanism too far, it's like you don't want this ride to end.
Yeah.
It's like, but the ride's going to end.
But I think that's I think that's where we're at. We don't want this ride to end.
Humans?
That's why we're trying to find ways
know.
to extend our life.
Not universally true though.
Not for everybody.
So it's
But I think that
yeah.
the people that are, I feel like the people that have the power, they would prefer to extend life.
You
as
mean
much
the
as possible.
power as like the people in charge?
Yeah.
But that's a power game. That's not like a.
Well, because the thing is
they
like
just
nothing.
want to keep controlling.
Yeah.
Like I want to control people. I want to control my life.
I think when you have that when you're up to that level, when you have money, that means you want to, because if you die, there's nothing.
It's like, oh, now I'm left with exactly, yeah.
Right.
But then you
it's like,
create.
can I extend my life? Can I? I mean, it's always those stories, right? Looking for the elixir.
But those are all people who are too attached to the finiteness of reality.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the Buddha was invented, because he was like, wait a minute, we have to let these things go. It's like the balance, right? Like you have all these people that don't want to die because they want to stay kings. Like they're like, my level in this video game is amazing. But then Buddha was like, but you have to let it go anyways. So don't be too attached to reality.
Yeah, there's two ways to live. Yeah, that's his philosophy. But then there's people that are, again, that's what I'm saying. It's like you're gonna have the
yin and yang. But that's why I like Buddha in this way, because he's like the middle path. Attach, but don't attach too much.
Yeah,
be sad,
I think
but don't be too sad.
Right. I think that it's the middle path, but like you need those people to pull on one way or the other. That way you're kind of leading in the middle path.
But you need the extremists on both sides. Yeah, totally. To give you, like, from your perspective, you need to see both extremes in order to know not to go in that way.
Yeah.
I wonder though, like, shouldn't you also experience it? Because you could see it. You're like, I don't want to go there. But then, all right, I have a great example. I was talking to this person at work, and they were like, we were just talking about our like backstories, and I was like, oh yeah, I once like quit everything and traveled the world for like 5 months. And then the girl was like, oh, that sounds so fascinating. I wish I could do that, but I'm so scared because I need stability. I was like, funny thing is, after coming back, I realized that you need stability. So like, you are correct, but now I know you're correct because I have experience to know you're correct, rather than her, which is like wishful thinking. It's like, oh, I would love to do that, but I don't know, like the fear is holding me back. So it's like, she knows, it's like half of the equation. You know what I'm saying? Like knowledge plus experience equals wisdom. So I was wise to the fact that you do need money. So I'm okay with like being tethered to something that gives me money.
Yeah.
Right. But she's always wondering what it could have been like. She knows that that's the correct answer, but it's like, but the wondering.
I know, I get that. But I think, so that's where it's like, does she take vacation? So she go...
No, she's like, yeah, I get to take vacation and stuff. But it's like, there's a difference, because it's like, you're dabbling in it. You don't really know it for sure.
Yeah.
Like, has she like scraped by where she's like, oh, I really need some money, you know? Or like seeing poverty is another good example of one. Yeah. You're like, oh, I mean, there's seeing it and like feeling the poverty, you know? Like, you can be with as many poverty. So like Mother Teresa, you can spend your time with the poor, but she'll never know what it's like to be really poor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just went on a weird loop. But you know what I'm saying? But like, it's interesting to think about that Mother Teresa, who spent all her life with the poor, she'll never actually know what it means to be poor. She's understanding it.
Right.
But she's not wise to it.
Like
her life never not meant nothing. Unless it did. Maybe if I read her bio.
Like, I don't know her bio. Maybe she was
poor
like, before. Yeah. True. No, I understand that. Yeah.
Right? It's like even if you're like, yeah, I'm sharing a meal with you and we're both poor, whatever. But it's like, but they're also living with the mental state of being poor. It's like, this is a great moment for me.
Right.
But I know tomorrow's going to be not good. Whereas you'll fly back to the Vatican or to a different, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You have a roof over your head, kind of.
Exactly. Yes, like the Pope will take you in. You know, you are a part of the clergy.
Yeah.
Whereas I am not. So it's a different level. Like, wisdom is the highest point of true understanding, because you like not only know it, because Mother Teresa knows it, but she doesn't know what it feels like to really be poor.
Yeah.
So she's not wise to it.
Yeah, sometimes you can't experience.
Yeah, sometimes you can't experience. Yeah.
Because there's no way that she could experience being poor.
Yeah, she's too far gone. It's like she can't not know.
It's not possible for her at this point.
Even Batman, I was thinking like, maybe you could put yourself in that situation, but it's like, even Batman, when in The Dark Knight, what was it? Dark Knight Rises? What was the first one? Batman Begins. So remember, he like left and he was being poor, but at any moment he could fly back to Gotham.
Exactly. Yeah. Any moment.
So you have like you're dabbling in it. You don't really know what it's
Like if you're really, really like that bad, you can just you're gonna fly back.
Yeah,
like, no
exactly.
matter what.
Yeah.
You're not gonna go that level.
And I think that's actually what allowed me to do that like 5-month trip, because I always knew like, well, this won't really hurt me. Like I have a home.
Yeah.
So maybe even I don't know what it's like to be like untethered.
Yeah, I think it all depends on our circumstance of life. Yeah, we don't actually. We don't know. We can't go into like exactly another person's life.
Yeah.
We can't. I don't think that'll be possible.
Yeah, we can only have our own life experience in life.
Yeah.
And you can only go as far as you want to go. Maybe that's the thing. You can't help anyone. Like Bruce Lee said this. He's like, you can't like know that I am just a signpost for the truth. I am not the truth. Because like you can only see what you can see.
Yeah.
I can only show you what I've seen.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I could learn something new.
Yeah,
the next
like,
day.
That's your experience, bro. Like I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what does that mean about gurus? You know what I mean? Like all those like gurus that if you just come to me and like live with me, I will teach you the way. It's like fake.
Well, I guess the thing should be I teach you my way, which is correct.
Or I'll share with you my experience. But then if you take that as the sentence, then it's like, well, then couldn't I just learn that from anyone? Because I'm just going to share with you my experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But is it
the same experience you want to learn about?
Yeah. Is it that experience that you want to learn about? Or do you want to learn about that experience? But it all depends on the individual there.
Yeah. But yeah, and that's why they say like every spiritual seeker has to eventually become their own teacher.
Yeah.
Like their own, like I have to show myself the way. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, what are we at in terms of time? Because I'm getting like 3 calls in a row now.
It's an hour in.
It's an hour in? Okay. All right. We're just going to jump to Smile. I have a ton more. We're just going to jump to Smile.
Leave for the next, yeah.
Okay. We'll save it for next time. I didn't know this was going to go philosophical. Okay. So Smile. What do you think of it?
It's a good scary movie.
I feel like it's the best one I've seen in a long time. Like I haven't seen one this good. Can you name another one?
Scary movie? No.
Scary movies aren't usually scary, right?
Yeah, no, I don't really. No, I can't think of another one.
Yeah, same. And this one has still gotten me scared a few days later. You know, like I was. The
one before we went to this movie, I was thinking of like It Follows.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah,
it had a similar vibe, but this is better.
Yeah, and. Yes, because in It Follows, it was something weirdly supernatural, but in this one, it was like, it was like psychological.
Yeah, there
was a monster, but it wasn't.
But it can fit in the world of in the psychological world. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what grounded in reality, where it's like. So
have you gone crazy, or are you
So full spoiler.
Actually seeing a demon?
Yeah. And that's what made it really scary. To me, because like so basically, full spoiler, the way the demon passes on is you witness somebody committing suicide in like a really horrific fashion, but then the psychologist chalk that up to PTSD. So then you're asking yourself through the movie, is the main character going through PTSD, or is there actually a demon?
Right.
And the main character is trying to tell you that there's a demon. And they're like, well, that's what they would all say. You know, like somebody who's having a psychological break would be begging you to believe them as much as, you know.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's what made this movie amazing to me, you know, because it's like, it made it so realistic. Like all the things where the victim was showing up in the middle of the night to the main character. It's like you would see that person if they were going through PTSD.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what scared me the whole time, because I was like imagining seeing, like, because they were saying it could be anyone. So if you just started like smiling at me, I'd be like is it me though? Like, yeah,
that's what made it a good movie. I mean, they had the general jump scares, but I think
That's
the
like
homage to
anything
the
could give you
that's
a jump scare.
Yeah.
But the real scary movies that are great are the ones that leave you with that feeling of like, oh, I could go through this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if it was like a Grudge or something, it's like, okay, just don't watch the TV or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is like a psychological thing that you just can't escape because it's psychological. And they kept saying that, right? Like the demon will enter into traumatized minds.
Yeah.
So her backstory was she saw her mom commit suicide and didn't help her, and that left her with trauma. So then when she was talking about a demon, her sister was like, "You're going through what mom was going through."
So then nobody was believing her.
Exactly, and you're like, okay, this could really happen to people.
Yeah, like a breaking point.
Yeah, breaking point. Yeah, like schizophrenia or something like that. Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Yeah. There was one point. This is the first movie where I actually had to cover my face.
Where?
It's just like throughout the second half of it, I was like closing my eyes and like peering through my eyes, through my hand.
Really?
Yeah, I was so scared. And then your brother went to the bathroom and he started walking back really fast. Just like the person, remember when the sister came out and she walked and then the head fell off?
Oh, yeah.
So your brother went to the bathroom, but the speed with which he was walking back scared the crap out of me. I was like, why are you walking so quick? Yeah. It's a good movie. Definitely worth watching.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and It Follows is definitely a great parallel to this one.
Yeah.
Because it does like continue through people.
Yeah, but this one is very focused around mental health.
Which is
the difference.
Which is what made it excellent and realistic. Yeah. Let's see if I have anything else about that. No, yeah. Oh, okay, so the other thing that was the last thing that I thought was really cool about the movie, total spoiler, is they made you think that like it left with hope.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, she's gonna defeat the demon. And then the last part is like,
well, I generally know that with horror movies it's not gonna be. It's never gonna be hopeful.
Oh, you know this person?
No, I'm saying in horror movies.
Oh, horror movies. Oh, okay.
It's never.
Oh yeah, it's
never a hopeful ending.
Yeah, true.
It's not going to be.
Yeah, they're always gonna escape. Yeah, true. Okay, yeah, I guess I didn't think about it like that, but it made me feel like, oh, she escaped.
Yeah, because I mean, the last segments was very good because she thought she escaped.
Yeah,
and she got away and all that kind of stuff.
And then her ex ended up getting the demon.
Yeah, and she was still at that house, at the abandoned house.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like when she thought she left the city.
That was really good too.
Left back to the city. Yeah.
And it turned out she hadn't gone anywhere.
Left. It was all in her head.
I feel like this fits in like the horror movie level of like old school horror movies. I remember being really scared of like 90s horror movies. And then for some reason like horror movies weren't that good after a while.
Right. Yeah, I don't
like
remember.
Cell, Seven. Really, Seven?
I don't know, Seven.
Serial killer who kept
I don't remember.
like with Seven Deadly Sins with Brad Pitt.
No, I don't think.
Wow, it's a great movie. Yeah, there were a lot of good like really prime classic movies. Do you remember that one movie where the devil was going from person to person, and then I think it was Denzel Washington, he was like on death row, and then he would always sing that song, Sympathy for the Devil.
I didn't watch too many.
Oh, okay. Well, Sunshine's like a huge horror movie fan, so I watched like a ton of them.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't remember horror movies other than It Follows and this one, right? So it's like, okay, yeah, like there isn't,
because you were just deleting all the crappy ones. Yeah. No, this one's up there with like this could be
like
a classic
that,
horror movie.
Or like The Witch. I remember now. Witch. We watched that one. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. Well, that wasn't that good.
See, I don't remember that at all. Yeah,
because it was more like
it was boring.
Yeah.
It was very boring.
Yeah. So
but like the actor, I knew the cop.
Oh, I didn't.
I never seen him in a long time, but he was in Smallville.
Oh, cool.
As Flash.
Oh, nice. Yeah, these ones all seemed like very unknown actors.
Yeah, they were. Yes. Or they were from TV.
Yeah, like it wasn't like Hollywood level actors.
No. Yeah, these seems more like they're all TV.
But that's what made it
came
good
from
though, because
TV.
then you're not like, oh, I'm watching Brad Pitt go through
Yeah,
this
yeah,
thing, you know?
yeah. I don't think those people will be doing horror movies. Like,
Yeah, actually, you're too A-list name.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that will be a distraction. I feel like that is a distraction. If it was Brad Pitt,
Yeah.
it's a distraction.
Exactly,
It becomes
yeah.
a distraction now. It's not really a horror movie,
Yeah. I know what you mean. I know what you
right?
mean.
It's like, yeah. So
It pulls you out of the experience.
It's, yeah. If it's people that you don't know, it
makes it feel like,
you're
oh, it could
more
be
in the
anyone.
story now,
Yeah.
right? Versus looking at the actor.
Totally.
Except if you know the actor.
Do you remember Blair Witch Project?
Yeah.
Like,
I remember what it is about or how they did it, but I don't remember the
but that's
story.
what I put this one up to. It's like, it's gonna be one of those horror movie cult classics going forward.
Oh, now I remember another one now. Paranormal Activity.
Ooh, I've heard of it. I don't remember.
We watched that one. Like he was getting pulled out of the bed. Do you remember? Like it was all.
Oh yeah. So that's another good classic. Yeah. It's it was CCTVs or something.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
Home cameras.
Home cameras, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's up there. Smile's gonna
Those are up
definitely
there.
be up there. Yeah, so check it out. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Good movie.
It'll definitely leave you scared for a while. Like even you were scared, right? You're like,
Yeah, because we turn off all the lights. I'm heading into the room. The hallway is all black, so it's like
which is
all
what
I'm
happened in the
thinking.
movie. Yeah,
Yeah, that's.
that was a scary scene where it's like, come in here, come in. You're like, what's going on? Like, because it's like, is it in her mind? Is it the demon?
Yeah.
And that was cool too. The demon was making it so that they couldn't sleep, so they were getting more and more
Right.
into like psychological state.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, because of the lack of the sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, good movie. All right, till next time. No Black Adam, right?
Not yet.
Okay, so
Soon. I think soon, right?
yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah. All right.
Let's see what DC has. Yeah.
It's looking really good though, like compared to Marvel. The color grading, the like the R-ratedness of it. Like it's not.
Is it R-rated?
No. I mean like
The feeling of that.
the feeling, right? It's not like it's more mature. Is what I want to say.
Yes. Yeah. Let's see. Let's.
Oh, you're not hopeful. Oh no.
No, not that I'm not hopeful.
You don't like The Rock?
I'm just hesitant.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just hesitant.
That was actually another one of the topics. Black Panther to me. We'll just say it really quickly. I'm really hoping Black Panther's good. It does feel a little woman empowered to me, and I
think
hope
it will be.
Yeah, I know, but I
Based
hope
on
they
who
don't
the
shove
Black
it down your
Panther is
throat.
now.
But do you think they're gonna like shove it down your throat and be like,
I don't know.
they might, you know?
I don't know how much of the new Marvel is in this
In the new
iteration of
mandate,
Black.
yeah.
So it's like, I think the same director.
Okay,
So we'll see.
so
We're
optimistic.
hopeful for it to be good. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
We'll know when we watch it.
yeah.
It does
true.
look cool.
It does look cool, but
Yeah.
dang. Yeah. All right. Till next time. Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.
Bye. All right, hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors, Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.